Good morning, watch nerds. Before I start, I should declare I received a small discount as a reviewer, although I promise this will not affect the review in any way whatsoever. Direnzo asks for his microband owned by Sergio Direnzo, who designs the watches himself and has them made in Switzerland. My first encounter with this brand was about 4 years ago when I purchased an early DRZ03, a 40mm dive watch with a relatively poor lume, and it wore larger than the 40mm case indicated. Apart from that, the watch looked fantastic and it was extremely well put together. Now this watch was dispatched from Geneva in Switzerland and arrived at my door in the UK within 1 working day. I think that's pretty impressive. So well done, DHL. And welcome to my unpaid but partially sponsored review of the Direnzo DRZ02R, or the Aerolite. The original version of this watch just came on a strap and it was 42mm. Believe it or not, it was just called the DRZ02. This reduced version is far more wearable for the majority of people, so let's have a look at the dimensions. The case is officially 39mm, but I measure it at 38.6. The lug to lug is officially 44mm, and I measure it at 44mm. The depth is officially 10.8mm, including a flat sapphire crystal with AR coating. I measure it at 11.2mm. Now whilst this has got an integrated bracelet, it still has an internal lug measurement of 20mm. That's for anybody that wants to put it on a strap. Now once it adjusted to fit my 17cm wrist, it weighs in at 139 grams. Now it's worth bearing in mind, although the dimensions are quite minimal, it does have a fair bit of wrist presence. And this is my watch of the day. It's the Father's Horizon. It's an Italian microbrand, but again it's made in Switzerland. And there we are, that's the packaging. An outer box, a very nice quality watch roll, a cleaning cloth, some instructions and a personalised note from Sergio himself. Inside the heart of the watch is a Sellita SW200-1 Ellabore grade high beat movement with Inca block protection. If that isn't enough, Sergio will regulate it himself if he's not happy with the accuracy. Now you don't get that with a mainstream brand, do you? I'd be amazed if you don't know about this movement, so I'm not going to bother telling you about it. But I will show you it on a time grapher. And there we are, certainly no complaints there. A very good beat error, an excellent amplitude, and what a great rate. The push-pull crown is a little over 6mm. It's beautifully knurled, and guess what? It's loomed. I would have liked it to be in a screw-down crown, but Direnzo still offer 100 metres of water resistance. It's worth noting you can either choose this between a date or a no-date version. I chose the dated version, so I don't know if the undated version has a ghost position, even though that isn't something that bothers me anyway. Firstly, the case and bracelet has got an 800 Vickers scratch-resistant coating applied, something I wish they put on all watches. Unusually, it's got a cushion case with slightly concave sides. The bezel on the top of the case are vertically brushed, while the sides are horizontally brushed. This is all done to an extremely high standard. The only polishing is in the transition between the tops and the sides, and the side of the bezel, and I believe this adds a bit of interest. To be honest, I think this case separates this watch from a whole plethora of other sports watches, although it may give a little bit more wrist presence than some people may like. As you can see, the case back screws down and is of the exhibition variety. What's nice is it's made of sapphire, something not many mainstream brands bother with. Around the outside is some engraved information. Whilst the case has got a 20mm lug width, the actual bracelet tapers down from 28mm to 16mm. Now it's beautifully made, it articulates well, and it's extremely comfortable. As you can see, there's a mixture of brushing and polishing. Whilst I don't normally like polished links, the fact that it's got a scratch resistant coating allows me to appreciate them more, if you see what I mean. Fortunately, it's got quick release spring bars, and it's got well engineered screw pins for easy adjustment. Now whilst you can wear this on a strap, I don't think it looks quite right, but I think there are plenty of people that are going to disagree with me there. Anyway, here's a few pictures of it on a few straps. As standard, it comes on this well-made butterfly clasp with double pushers. I don't normally like butterfly clasps because of the lack of adjustment. However, you do get half links with this, meaning it's not hard to get a good fit. Alternatively, Direnzo will sell you a traditional diver's type clasp. I would like to have seen them include this in the price, but perhaps that's just me giving away Sergio's profits. The dial is a thing of great splendour. And whilst this comes in several different colours, this purple version was always going to be my choice. I'll leave a link to the website below. It's a sandwich dial that has got circular brushing and has got both sunburst and a fume finish. At the 12 o'clock is a triangle, and below that the Direnzo logo and Geneva. The circular date window is my preferred 6 o'clock position, and above that is printed automatic. Look carefully, and below the date window you'll see Swiss made. On the chapter ring is a minute track, and the rest of the sunken indices live on 2 curved tracks. I'm not quite sure how to describe the hour and minute hands, but like the rest of the watch, they're quite unique. Now have a look at the lollipop second hand, and you'll notice it travels around the index track and perfectly over the date window. This is a great bit of well thought out detail. Another one of the watch's highlights is the BGW9 lume, which may vary depending on the colour you choose. It's very well applied, and because of the design, it looks great in the dark. This thing glows like a torch all night. However, the application of lume on the hands isn't quite as good as the dial, so telling the time after about 4 hours is quite difficult. Anyway, I'm sure you're dying to see it. So let's talk about price. Well, you know this is Swiss made with a Swiss movement. You know it's made to a very high standard and finished beautifully. You know it's got a lovely bracelet and the lume is fantastic. So I presume you aren't expecting it to be cheap. Well, it's not, but it isn't that expensive either. An equivalent Christopher Ward 12 on a bracelet made in Switzerland but without a scratch resistant coating or an Ellabore grade Solita movement will cost you £1,050. A luxury branded watch such as an Omega or a Tudor will cost you thousands. This watch will cost you 780 Swiss francs, which in real money is about £693. However, you must remember the duty depending on the country you reside. In fact, Jody over at One More Watch believe this is underpriced for what it is. Now I believe because it's a microband and the market's flat at the moment, getting any more for this watch would actually be extremely difficult. So what do I think of the DRZ02R? I love the quality, I love the finish, it's got a great movement, the bracelet is superb, and the dial is simply a work of art. The only thing now is I've got to get used to that unusual case shape because it does make it sit a little bit different on the wrist. Other than that, I suppose a screw down crown would have been preferable, but I suppose that's down to the concave sides. All in all though, this is an excellent timepiece, and I believe anybody who appreciates a good bit of horology is going to like this watch, if not love it. So that brings me to the end of this review, so if you enjoyed it please click on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day.